I don't know. Helen, you got to show us the screen. Oh, glad you guys could join us. All right, now we're in the shot, and now I'm getting an echo in my ear, Helen. Check, check, check. You getting a? Are you getting a? You are you getting a?
No, mine is fine.
You're not getting an echo.
Mm-mm.
Okay. No. Yeah, I think it went away, Helen. Anyway. Uh huh. Yep. See, that's what we get for not doing a test run. That's what we get. Oh, so thanks for joining us tonight. We didn't do a test run tonight, and of course, we had three things go wrong in the first 30 seconds. Actually, more than that, like four things in the first 30 seconds. So, anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. You know, I'll tell you something interesting that happened the other day. At least it's kind of interesting if you think about it. So I found, and I hadn't even thought about it, but we were going to look at Christmas lights last night. So the other night, Murphy, for those of you who've been around long enough, know who Murphy Murph is. She passed away this year, and she had a toy that was an elephant about this tall, maybe a foot tall, sitting up, like sitting on its, hind legs, stuffed animal, right? And I showed it to Melanie, and I said, you know what this looks like? I said, this looks like the elephant from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon, right? And it kind of does, except it's not polka dot, right? And Melanie said, you know, that whole show isn't, or that whole cartoon, it's like an hour long. Everybody's seen it. She said it's really not good for young people. It's not a good influence, right? And so we talked about the land of misfit toys, which is where that elephant was, the polka dot elephant. And it's really sends a bad message to kids. You were right. And you were right. And I realized as well that who really gets ripped off in that is the squirt gun, because the squirt gun complains that he's on the land of the island of misfit toys. Which, think about it, it's these toys got sent to like a leper colony in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. They had that little fire going at the end. They're sitting around that fire. There was no wood. There was no trees. Where'd they get the wood from, right? But you know who really got ripped off in that whole deal was the squirt gun, because the squirt gun was was banished to the island of misfit toys because it squirted out jelly. Stop putting jelly in them. Right? Stop putting jelly in them. And then he's a regular squirt gun. But then I thought about it a little more, and I thought, well, if they put water in them, it'd freeze on the island of misfit toys. So anyway,
I thought it
it's really
squirted
bad
out like a
message.
little flag.
No, it was jelly.
You sure?
I'm a water pistol that squirts out jelly.
I don't know. We have to watch it again.
We'll have to watch it again like every other year. So now you guys are going to watch that, and I should have never said anything, because then somebody will start a campaign to
Exactly. You
against
couldn't keep your mouth closed.
against Rudolph. Yeah, I'm getting a Melanie echo too, Helen. Just FYI. So hey, so today we're going to talk about a number of things, and we're going to answer some DevaCurl questions. You guys ask them, and we will answer them. For those of you who don't know, and apparently a lot of people who are in the DevaCurl user support group, the 11,000 of you that are in there, apparently a lot of people don't know who Melanie is and her experience. And I could tell by the less than friendly comments about her during last week's show. Well, Melanie just happens to be a Diva trained stylist. She's been a Diva trained stylist for almost coming up on 20 years, right? Coming up on, it's got to be close. 2004, 2005, so maybe 18?
No. Let me think. I think I went to my first training late 2006.
Yeah. So it'd be, so we're coming up on 17 years as a Diva trained stylist. She's also been through the art of texture training at the Diva Sean Academy in Manhattan. And you know how those of you who are DevaCurl users, and you know that there's level 1, level 2, and Diva certified and whatever. Well, Melanie went through all that training long before there even was a certified, like 10 years before there even was anything such as, certified. And we've talked about it before years ago. Maybe we'll talk about it on another show about, no, we should talk about it tonight. Since we're talking about DevaCurl, I'm going to clue you guys in on a little thing, or a little inside baseball about that. And I'll when we get to one of the DevaCurl topics, I'll throw it in there, and you're going to learn something tonight. But we'll talk about that more.
I mean,
later.
we've even we're friends with Sherry. We've had her on the show.
Yep.
We're friends with some other people.
Co-founder of the DevaCurl Academy, the training academy, wrote all the instruction books. She's a friend of ours. So
yeah, we've had her on the show a couple of times.
We've had her on the show a couple of times now that I think of it. So probably have to hit her up again. I should have told you. I don't think I told you. Her dad passed away. I think last week.
Oh no.
I know. He'd had some dementia for a long time. But anyway,
sad.
so I sent her a quick message. So anyway, so thanks for joining us. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're also going to talk about our Curl Club, ourcurlclub.com. Give you guys a little more information about that. If you haven't signed up for it yet, I would join that. Wholesale to the public every day. Just join our Curl Club at ourcurlclub.com. In the comment section, I will put a link to sign up. You get a 1-year membership, and you get to buy at the same prices at your local Ulta, Amazon.com, stylist salons, whatever. You get to buy at their prices. ourcurlclub.com. And I've also got some other big news. Should I get rid of the big? Should I go through the big news now? Get it all out of the way, so we can talk about other stuff. Or should I save it? All right, I got another thing. I'm gonna save. Helen, I'm gonna save that next thing. So keep that thing that's on the screen you got there. Nope, don't touch it. Leave it right there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. Anyway, but we'll get into a bunch of Q&A and talk about some other stuff too. So Melanie, how were things at the salon this week? Do a lot of curly cuts?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Well, you're not helpful.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't know. I mean, my days all blur together. I work 12 to 14 hours behind the chair. It's Christmas. Everyone's trying to get in. I don't even have time to take pictures.
Yep.
Jessica's going out of town this week. So it's a little stressful.
But you were able to color your hair, so.
Yeah. Saturday night. After my last client.
Right, living the glamorous life.
Yep. So we could go to our work Christmas party, which you missed.
One of us went. One of us didn't. But we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
Because I'm still trying. I'm trying to stay upbeat, and it's Christmas. I'm trying not to be trying not to be that way.
Bring my sparkle.
So I'm going to give you a couple. Yes. We don't have any pictures of you in your sparkly outfit.
No, Jessica took one, but she didn't send it to me.
We'll show you guys next week. Melanie's outfit, gorgeous.
We didn't get a picture of the whole outfit.
We rarely get to do stuff. We rarely get to do stuff nice other than normal, because we just don't have the time, and that's going to change. But yeah, so we'd been we spent literally all day yesterday because Melanie's going to have her salon Christmas party, right? So we're going to go out for that, and I'm backing out of the driveway, literally backing out of the driveway. I just got the rear tires onto the street, and
I thought you were going to talk about it.
I'm not. I'm just going to say this. Melanie kind of starts using choice words in an elevated tone, and she had been looking at her phone. And long story short, crap hit the fan in kind of a work-related thing, and I pulled back into the driveway, dropped Melanie off so she could go to the Christmas party while I went and tried to put the fire out. Not literal fire, proverbial fire. I couldn't believe it. Literally, I swear to God, it's like a movie, right? I just got into the street, and I'm like, oh. So anyway, so let's talk about DevaCurl products. So as I said, if
Do you want
I've
me to
I've
hit the air conditioning?
nah, it's okay. Just leave it. But like I said before, you guys who are DevaCurl users, I'm going to tell you something about that too. I'd been debating, but you've got a very highly trained DevaCurl trained hairstylist here that cuts curly hair all day, every day. Take advantage of being able to talk to her one-on-one and ask her questions in this group setting, and it'd be helpful instead of being nasty to her. So an employee here last week, I'm not going to say what employee, but an employee here, and I will say this, that I'm not making this up because Helen witnessed this situation, so she will vouch for me when I say this. And this employee said to me, yep, see Helen saying yes in my ear. This employee said to me, almost verbatim, pretty much like this, said, Ken, did you ever notice that depending on the curly hair brand, how much different the users are? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, some brands, the users are all really nice and helpful and whatever. And she said, other brands, the users are really mean and nasty and not even nice to each other. Did you ever notice that? And I said, no, but now I do. I never thought of it. But to have somebody like that who, who works here but isn't in the right, to notice that, because we do a lot of PR stuff and whatever in marketing. So everybody that works here is involved. They're just not as deeply involved as like Melanie is. But that employee was right. Isn't that this interesting observation? Interesting. If any of you watching or listening tonight, if you've ever noticed that, point that out. But so let's get into some DevaCurl questions, and I'm going to talk about a couple of ask you a couple of real common questions, and I think you'll clear a lot up for a lot of people, especially newbies. First of all, can you describe what co-washing is and what the concept is, and how it relates to DevaCurl products? Can you kind of explain that?
Well, that whole concept has become different. So it's been taken from meaning one thing and changed. Just like anything else online, I think it's become something else. But it's supposed to be, the co-washing originally was, to me, washing in between washes with like wetting down the hair and using conditioner. So it's like
instead of a shampoo with sulfates in it.
Right. So instead of like shampooing or cleansing your hair, then in between your washes, you're wetting down your hair and you're reconditioning the hair. Then it became, a term used for just using conditioning washes, which were like the non-sudsing, more, conditioning cleansers, the Wens, the Divas, the No Poos, those kinds of products.
But those were still conditioners, but they were being called and used as something that they really weren't. So would it be safe to say, would it be safe to characterize that as you were using them like a regular sulfate type shampoo, like scrubbing it, but it was really the scrubbing that was cleaning your hair and scalp in theory, not the sulfates?
Yeah. I mean, the whole concept came from, trying to avoid using sulfates and things that were drying and dehydrating and aggressive on the hair, and therefore the curls. But again, I think it just kind of became a little altered. But yes, like the Diva product, they had the No Poo, which is a conditioning cleanser.
That was the original.
Yeah. Uh-huh. A lot of it comes down to pHs. That gets real technical in products. And I always said because we manufacture hair products, there's a difference between the pH level in a shampoo or cleanser and a conditioner. So I've always been, the school of thought that they should be separate because it's hard to have the proper function all in one.
So, and is that the case because the pH of a cleanser or a shampoo is on kind of like on the opposite spectrum of where the pH of a conditioner would be?
Yeah, the pH of a shampoo cleanser is going to be higher because you want it to, cleanse and remove and, clean the hair and the scalp. So the pH therefore is higher. And then conditioners are typically a lower pH to close down the cuticle and, soften and moisturize and, but it closes down the cuticle because it's a lower pH level. So to have those two combined, yes, it's there, it's available, but is it the best? I don't feel, I like to keep those separate.
Yeah.
For those reasons. Like I want to be able to cleanse the hair, and you can do that now, like with the Raw Curls cleansers that we have. They all are sulfate free. They have gentle, agents in them, to cleanse the hair, but it's still higher than a conditioner. So then the conditioner is going to, close down that cuticle, which is going to help preserve the hair. It's going to help, have less frizz. It's going to seal in your color. So when people are on our systems, their colors last longer, and it's for those reasons.
Yeah. I've got a question about color that's related to this. So basically you're opening the the cuticle and then you're closing it. So after you do a hair color treatment, and you use primarily non-toxic, I don't know if that's the right word, not as aggressive of hair color brands. And also, for those of you who don't know, Melanie is an American board certified hair colorist. She's also an educator for the organization in the past, and one of only about 19 exam judges to ever reach that level. So she understands hair color and curly hair very, very well. So she's a perfect person to talk to about these questions. But so my question is, does it make sense to shampoo a client's hair or your hair after you've had it colored?
Of course.
Of course. And conditioned?
Yes.
Both, even though you're trying to get the color into the cuticle.
Right. Well, the color gets put into the cuticle during the process, but it's actually very, very important to wash the hair properly after the coloring. And, we went, this turned into a big debate, we'll call it, years ago at one of the ABCH summits when I was teaching classes on the ammonia-free hair color, because people weren't really educated on that. And, they were saying there's MEA in those hair colors, and there is in some of them, and some of, so there are replacements that are gentler for ammonia in order to process the hair color. But, and they were saying that builds up in the hair and it causes it to, it causes damage and it causes the hair to fall out, or, all these. And, well, that's why there's agents in those hair colors also to remove and neutralize that MEA or those other ingredients, but also the proper cleansing technique is important. So making sure that you shampoo really well, twice, rinse it out. I've never had an issue, never. And what I had said back then, and I still will say nowadays, for those who still don't understand that whole coloring concept, there's MEA in just about the stylist's number one favorite of toner or glaze product.
I know. Shade ZQ.
You got it. So take a look at those ingredients. It's been around forever. You've been using it forever. Right. So if that's the theory, then you all got a real problem.
Yeah, I've seen you have this discussion at ABCH events, and it's funny because as soon as you bring that up, everybody shuts up and they won't even address that, and they move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like
so
it's like nobody wants to accept it, but those. But Melanie is long past fighting that battle. She's
Yeah.
had enough of that battle.
Well, because
she doesn't even bring up that
I've been
discussion.
proven right. You know, it's
Right.
like we knew that was going to happen over the
Yep.
years, so it's not even. I don't even know that it's a discussion anymore. But
No.
you know, I was right, and people have learned that. And same thing, like we've experienced, like you were talking earlier about, other stylists and people, bashing and being negative and attacking and all that. On certain techniques, lo and behold, at some point or another, they usually end up coming around, and whether they're going to say that they agree with me or not, they're doing the same things that they were, not in agreement with before.
Yeah.
So, I just always say, try to have an open mind. It's only going to help everyone be their best and, provide the best services and make everyone's curls look fabulous. There is more than one way to do things, and there's not just one that's, this is the absolute correct and that's it and that's all. So, but anyway, so shampooing is very important. And then, yes, absolutely conditioning. You have to wash the color out of the hair. And then, like I was saying, make sure that you use conditioner that's going to have a lower pH level to seal down the cuticle. And, that's your final step.
Yeah. I've got a question. So if you're talking about the DevaCurl No Poo Original is really they call it a conditioning cleanser, but it's really a conditioner. And then there's no poo conditioner. Are you
No, theirs
conditioning?
isn't. That was not a conditioner. No, that's a conditioning
That's
cleanser.
what I said.
You said, but you're
No,
calling it a conditioner.
Well, they're calling it a conditioning cleanser, but it's
Right.
really a conditioner because of the pHs.
No,
It's
no,
not.
no. Their pH was higher. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it says it on the bottle, but it's not the same as a conditioner.
No, okay. So you're not
So-
you're not conditioning and then conditioning.
No. And that's the mistake that people started to make. They were only using conditioner to wash their hair. And that's what I was saying where, it starts to get altered. So people were just using conditioner all the time and saying they're washing their hair with that. That's a problem. It's like always doing your laundry with a fabric softener. It's going to seem fresh.
It'll smell really good.
And smell good at first,
For a
but
while.
yeah, then it's going to start to get a weird buildup and, it's not going to be clean. So at some point or another, you have to cleanse the hair.
Okay.
And a lot of times people end up doing then a deep clarifying cleanser or shampoo, which is going to be, again, stronger, more aggressive to remove all that buildup. But that was the problem that, some of these companies ran into, that ended up having lawsuits because there was buildup, happening on the hair because people were just washing their hair with more of a conditioner.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you guys who are DevaCurl users a little another cool clue in, and I know some people who are DevaCurl evangelists in general, been longtime users, are going to argue to the hilt with me, but I know I'm right, and I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to prove it. So these here, if you're, I know if you're on podcast, you're not seeing it, but now the new DevaCurl packaging is these little short little bottles. They're still 12 ounce, but they're little short, little stubby things. And the old bottles used to look like this. Like these are the same thing. They're 12 ounce, but they're skinny and tall, just like every other shampoo and conditioner brand everywhere, right? You guys see them on camera here. You'll see a lot of times these things on sale at places like TJ Maxx, Ulta especially, Amazon and whatever. And you'll see a lot of times people when they'll buy these, and they can be a third of the price, sometimes half the price of the new short stubby bottles. And you'll see people immediately come at them and say, that's old product. That's uneducated. And I'll tell you why. And this is your little inside thing. And you got to pay attention when you're shopping if you're going to do what I'm telling you. But I know this for a fact. I manufacture products. I've been in different ends of the manufacturing game for 30 years. I know this to be a fact. When these two bottles right here, I bought them like a month ago on Amazon. And you're not selling old stuff on Amazon, and the expiration dates are exactly what they should be. They're like 19 months out. So, but this is you would assume by looking at the packaging that this is old product, and it's not.
Well, what's the expiration on these?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you about these taller, skinnier bottles when you see them. If you see them at a reputable store, don't be afraid. Here's why. And this is what, you'll see a lot of stylists screaming bloody murder when people see, because, they don't want people buying $10 bottles of this, instead of the new stuff. So they tell people that this stuff's old. You got to check the dates. But here's the thing. Like I said, I just bought these on Amazon a month ago. Here's the thing. When a manufacturer like the owner of DevaCurl, the company that owns it, they'll buy these bottles. They'll buy these bottles millions at a time overseas, right? And the way it actually works is that they'll buy millions and millions of them, shipping containers full of them, all the same, and they'll do one of two things. They'll either they'll buy them and have them shipped to another part of, usually in Asia is where this is done a lot, but a lot of times they're able to buy these bottles so cheap that they'll buy them in Asia, ship them to the United States, and literally turn them around and send them right back to Asia to get labeled. And here's the thing. They'll buy these labels in like, and it's not one roll, but it's several rolls, but they're big. They're like as close to as half the size of this room. They're big. The rolls of labels, right? So, and millions and millions of bottles at a time. Same thing with the caps. So when they decide to do a change like this and go with these, this new style bottle and, DevaCurl for, many reasons we're not going to get into tonight, decided to do this repackaging, rebranding trade, right? But the thing is they had already paid for all these bottles, all these labels, and they're not cheap, together. Even if you're buying millions, they're not cheap. So they do a rebranding like this, and DevaCurl's done this a couple times. They'll do a rebranding like this, but they're not throwing these empty bottles out in these labels. They're not throwing them out. They're going to fill them, and they're going to put them in market somewhere, not like a salon, but they're going to put them somewhere like a TJ Maxx or a Ross or something like that at a discount, because they get, the product's still good. It's the same. It's because they're filling them fresh. They're just filling them in old packaging. So the product's not bad. So in other words, check your date codes. Don't fall for that line that you hear from a lot of people that say, that's old product. No, it's old packaging. But, I mean, if you got 5 million bottles and 5 million or 10 million bottles and 10, that's, trust me, it's a lot of money you're not throwing away just because I came out with a new, right? You're going to use it. So anyway, there's your little inside tip. You'll get to save a bunch of money. You're welcome. Let's talk about the DevaCut. Tell us what the DevaCut is and why it's different than others and why people would want it.
Well, the DevaCut believes in cutting basically curl by curl on dry hair. So the reason for that is it makes sense because you want to cut where the curl lives. There's a lot of, depending on your curl type, you have shrinkage. So, some people have a looser curl that's going to shrink a little bit when it's from wet to dry. And then some people have a really tight curl that's going to have a huge shrinkage. So that means, if you would go to a regular hairstylist that's going to pull and stretch the hair when it's wet and cut it, that it's going to bounce up to much, much shorter than, they would expect. So that's why, that was one problem that people would have. So Deva came along and it totally makes sense to cut the hair dry so you understand, where that length is going to be. So no matter what haircut I do, I always do the outline, the perimeter, the shape of my haircut dry. A lot of times I do the whole haircut dry, but a lot of times I incorporate my system, which includes other things. So, but DevaCut is exclusively dry cutting on curly hair. On
all types, from a coily type to a to a looser wave, same thing.
Yes.
Does it work on both?
Yes.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, it doesn't work better on one or worse on another. It's kind of an all-encompassing cut.
It is. I mean, you have to, there's different techniques within the Diva cut that you can use from, changing, when you're doing slightly wavy hair to super tight, coily hair. And that's where the art of texture comes in, and adjusting angles and techniques to adapt to that type of hair.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. Because I see that question all the time about, I'm using DevaCurl products. Do I need to get what's the difference? Why can't I go to my regular stylist? What are the advantages? And I know a lot of times people who, it's that whole you don't know what you don't know, theory. And they'll see pictures of people online that have Diva cuts or have had, a full treatment at a DevaCurl salon, or a trained salon like that, and they think that other people look like that, but they won't, and that's not necessarily the case. Eh?
Yeah, and I mean, I had, it was just this week. I think it was the beginning of the week. One of my clients, I've had this happen multiple times where. I do the dry cutting portion of the curly cut, and then, typically, depending on the hair and the situation, I would go back, and shampoo at that point, and then, do the finishing techniques and then style the hair. But, I had this happen several times where I just finished that dry cutting portion, and because the client's in the chair sitting there and seeing the results of that, they're happy, like they want to go home at that point. And I just had that happen this week. I was like, are you sure? But they just love it. It looks great. They can see the shape and the length of the haircut. And they, like this client in particular just didn't want, she had somewhere to go. She loved the way her hair looked. She just didn't even want to go through, washing and having it restyled. So yeah, I mean, it can be pretty interesting and amazing, even though it's kind of like all, I'm running my hands through it, and back to the Diva cut, that has changed a bit too from when I first started, when they literally did, section by section, curl by curl.
On everybody, on every cut.
Yeah, yeah. And then I adapted that technique to, the needs that I had with my clients. And then they ended up changing their technique to be more teachable, because that was more like freehand cutting. And it's kind of hard to teach that system to others. So they changed it to more of like curl groupings, which...
What, to make it more technical so you could actually follow a pattern,
Yes.
like an instruction?
Exactly, exactly. But it still makes sense, the way that you hold the hair and cut the curls, and you're not pulling and stretching, but you're just able to do more than literally like one curl at a time. So I believe they still consider it curl by curl, but it's more like curl groupings. So sometimes people, ask about that when they come in, because they've read the original Curly Girl book, which now is a bit outdated. There's been a lot of changes.
I want to say it's
that.
been updated 3 times, but it's been a while since the last one.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
at least 3 that I can think of.
But like sometimes they have, gotten their hands on the original one.
Oh, yeah.
But again, things change and evolve over time, and
The more you learn,
Yeah.
just like anything.
all of us that have been doing it for a long time, the original founders of any of the curly cutting techniques, as you're working on more and more people, as more of us are doing this and saying, hey, this is what I found really works for that situation. And we share with one another, things have evolved, something that was considered like a no-no and that people didn't ever do now is acceptable because you find that it works out nicely for the curls, so, there's, again, you have to keep an open mind. And for me, when I see that something works and it's not harming or damaging the curls, then, that's great.
Mm-hmm. if you don't have a trained curly hair stylist in your area, or your stylist is not someone who has curl specific training, in about 2 days, it looks like Wednesday, there will be the launch of the Curl Institute. The Curl Institute. The Curl Institute, Helen. There we go. The Curl Institute Curly Hair Masterclass, the online version that Melanie's been working on for 3 years, will be going. Will be opening up on Wednesday for pre-launch purchase. You can purchase that class, which includes everything that your stylist will need. It would be a really nice Christmas present for your stylist.
Somebody was just asking me that if they thought it would be rude if they bought a gift certificate for their stylist.
No.
To, come to a training or, and then I had told them about this. So I don't think so. I don't, I guess it's going to depend on the stylist if they would be offended by that or not. But, I think if they don't know and they're interested, they could be interested in learning.
I don't know. You wouldn't be offended getting free, just anything hair training, Free tickets to the hair show. Somebody buy you that for Christmas. Are you mad?
No.
Right, mad.
But I think, there's people.
Egos maybe
yes,
could be a problem.
Yes. Yeah. Like I know how to cut curly hair, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, the Curl Institute Curly Hair Mastery Workshop, the online version, as I said, going live, the pre-launch purchase, so you can buy it at a discount. It's a full class, teaches you everything. Teaches you wet cutting, teaches you dry cutting, teaches you the curl by individual curl cutting, teaches you coloring curly hair, styling, washing, setting, clipping, drying. What else? Everything. Like everything your stylist would need to know to be able to call themselves a curl specialist as they work through it. And this pre-launch purchase that I said opens up on Wednesday. The class actually goes live January 15th, but we've only got a couple of handfuls of spots for this, and you get the curly hair mannequin, you get the mannequin stand, the tripod, you get Melanie's Curl Mastery Workshop manual, you get a whole bunch of Raw Curls curly hair products to use to get you started. What else is included? Oh, the CIC diffuser. I mean, we're talking like $400, $500 just worth of stuff.
Yeah,
just worth of
crazy.
equipment. But you get everything included in that, and you get to there it is, Helen. There's a picture of it, and you get all that along with a year's worth of weekly group Zoom calls with curl expert Melanie Nichols. So if you have questions, she'll walk you through. We're setting that whole thing up at her salon. She's going to have own little video studio there. Pretty neat. And that starts in mid-January. So if you're interested in that, we'll put a link in the comments section below. But you can't go wrong. And then later on in the year, we're going to talk about the Curl Institute certification exams. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, this is great because it's, because I still work full-time plus behind the chair. It's hard for me to host classes. People are always asking, when are you teaching another class? When are you having week. And it's just really hard for me to have the time to do that on top of my schedule.
On top of COVID.
Yeah, and then we had COVID and all that. But even still, so this way we can reach a whole lot more people. So it's really exciting.
It is.
Yeah. Well,
it's the most comprehensive and affordable professional curly hair training anywhere on the planet. So check it out, thecurlinstitute.com, and I'll post a link for it. So, all righty. I have another quick announcement that I was thinking about holding off on, but I'm going to bring it up now. We are literally about 2 weeks away from the launch of the brand new Raw Curls Vault Hydrating Cream Cleanser and Hydrating Cream Conditioner in the 16-ounce bottles Yep, there they are. Helen, you can show them if you want. We're about 2 weeks away. Just running them now, so they got to go through all the microbial stuff and whatever. The long-awaited, if you're looking for more moisture, or you're somebody that uses a hydrating cleanser or hydrating conditioner of some other brand, super affordable, 16-ounce sizes instead of 10 or 12 or 8, and yeah, really good, really good. I used some this morning.
Of which?
The cleanser, because I like it. I'm not going to tell you why, but it's well, here, I'll put it this way: it gets everything. It's nice, because you don't have to really work it to get it to touch every spot of your head. It's pretty.
Oh,
good.
is that what you mean by it gets
That's what
everything? That sounded weird. I didn't know what that means.
That's what. Well, I don't let out too many secrets, until people get it, because what I really like when we launch a new product is I like it when people get it in their hands and start using it and start giving the feedback. Because I kind of stopped telling people a lot of details ahead of time when we'd launch stuff, because I found people, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but they're just like repeating what we're saying, And no, I want your feedback. I want to know what you really think. And, that's a core tenet in advertising is they keep repeating the same thing. So you keep repeating the same thing, right? So I don't do that. Feeling 7-Up. Everybody remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
It's a commercial from 7-Up for a long time ago.
I probably didn't watch TV.
Probably not. All right. You got anything else you want to talk about? Or you want to wrap this up? Anything else good? Any interesting topics?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Not that you can think of. Oh, one last thing. Melanie, got any openings at the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida? Now that tourist season is coming, all the snowbirds are coming down. We're getting lots and lots of messages about people of, hi, I'm here for the week. I'd like to get in on Friday. How do things look on your schedule? That good.
Friday of what year?
Right.
No, that doesn't work. You have to plan ahead. The only thing that's going to happen is you can get on a cancellation list in case something happens and opens up. But yeah, I book out for months ahead of time.
How many feet deep is your cancellation list?
It's not too bad.
Not too bad. Well, there you go.
No.
But you got to hope somebody cancels.
Yeah.
Be nice to Melanie's personal assistant, Jessica, and maybe that'll help you. Maybe it won't.
Well, it has to work, And like I just talked to somebody that called and they wanted to get in. Yeah, they, like next week. And Christmas, this December is like my busiest. I'm always busy. I don't know. But Christmas and March or, December and March are even, more busy because everybody wants to get in and get their hair done before the holidays. And so I'm working even later hours than I normally do, which is insane. But yeah, so, if people are willing to, they have to be flexible, patient, if they're willing to split things up, because if you just want a curly cut, that's going to be, a certain amount of time. But then if you want to add color or highlights or any, then it's a bigger block of time. So, like I just spoke with someone and I said, well, are you willing to split up, like come in for a haircut separately than, color? And, if you're willing to do that, your chances are better because it's, not a 4 or 5 or
but I have
whatever
pickleball
hour.
on Tuesdays and bridge on Wednesdays and lunch on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I can't come.
Well, sorry. I'm working
That's
14
how it is
hours
down
a
by
day.
us. We're the only ones laughing because we live here. We know what it's like. But that's literally the case. Hey,
I don't have time to go to the bathroom or eat, so I'm sorry. But,
and that's
like,
not a badge of honor. So if you are a licensed professional hairstylist and you're listening to this podcast or watching this show, getting that training. If you're not busy, or not as busy as you'd like to be, or not making the type of income that you thought you would leaving beauty school, check out thecurlinstitute.com.
Yes. And
now would be the time to do it.
if someone is a curly hair specialist in let me think. Georgia,
Why do you need one there?
contact us.
Ah, okay.
Send a message. So,
Got it.
yep, I have somebody that's going to be moving there, so they are going to be looking for a curly hair specialist in that area,
Ah, okay.
kind of near Hiawassee.
Oh, it's way north. That's way
Yeah,
north.
yeah. So I thought I'd just put that out there.
We haven't been to Hiawassee in a long time.
No,
We used to go there. I haven't been there in a long time. So anyway, all right, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for joining us. Again, if you guys have questions about, doesn't matter what product or what techniques or whatever you want to talk about, leave them in the comment section. And while we're doing the show, we'll answer them live next week. So feel free to join us. But
next
anyway,
week will be our Christmas show.
next week will be our Christmas show. I have to look for my.
You don't have to look. I know where it is.
Damn it. Great.
Yeah, I was going to bring them tonight, but
But anyway, all right. And maybe we'll have a guest next week who could get her Christmas present next week.
no, we won't.
All right, she's not getting it.
This was it. I told you.
Oh, that's right, because she's going to yeah. One of our other friends is there right now, as a matter of fact,
Oh, okay.
at the markets. So anyway, all right, we'll see you guys next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, same time. And why don't you take us out of here?
Have a great curly week. We'll see you then.
Bye.